Hello, my name is Toby, and whether you're a regular viewer or you're tuning in for the first time, thanks for listening in to the weekly vlog. Let me start by advertising next week's weekly vlog. It's one of our voices of Ardash. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, so look out for that. Also next week, or in truth it might be the week after, we're expecting to see publication of the NHS's 10-year plan. You may have had the chance to contribute to this through the various online forums that the Department of Health and Social Care sets up. We don't know exactly what's in it, but I'll hazard an educated guess that there's going to be a really strong focus on neighbourhood working, a really strong focus on prevention, and a really strong focus on digital working. And I guess when I reflect on that and I think about Promise 15 or Promise 21, it reminds me that perhaps we got there just a little bit before the government with the strategy that we're working to, with the promises that we have in our organisation. Remember, those promises didn't come from the dark recesses of my imagination. Instead, they came from co-production, started in 2022, continued through 2023, producing a strategy and a set 28 promises that the Clinical Leadership Executive, the Council of Governors and the Board of Directors were all signing off on. And I must say, partner organisations, our local authority colleagues, primary care colleagues and the voluntary sector have consistently endorsed the work of those promises. So as we move to deliver our first one with real living wage accreditation due in July, and then our second one with the volunteering promise 3 being achieved in October, it's important to reflect on how far we've come. But then when we look at the 10-year plan, important too to realise that for us at Ardash, it's going to be largely a continuity story. Well, maybe with a little bit of a twist. I've talked a lot in these vlogs in the last month about primary care. I think we're working better with primary care than we have before. Things like our flu vaccination work stand testimony to that. But we've got real work to do in the rest of this calendar year on our referral processes, and then real conversations to have with primary care partners about what it means to be a neighbourhood team. So maybe when I say continuity, that there might be a need for a bit of a change of pace in some of that joint working, but broadly, we think the 10-year plan is going to be Ardash goes large. There's like catch in my voice because over the last couple of days, it looks as if our NHS has had the first confirmed death as a result of a cyber attack, not at Ardash, but down in South London. I'm thinking as a talk of the tragedy of that for everybody involved, but it also makes me wonder about our cyber readiness. The analysis we've done as a senior team, the help of Nigel and Richard and many others, is that we're in a strong place. But our weak points will always come from individual action. So perhaps recognising the heartbreak that I've mentioned, worth just thinking about whether it's time for you to get yourself on password self-service. It'll be mandatory in Ardash from November. Are you ready with multi-factor authentication for you to get yourself onto radar? That's going to be enormously important. But more generally, whether it's phishing emails or anything else, let's all recognise that the co-op's been hit, where many of us might shop, the NHS has been tackled. It's a rising form of violence in our society and one we need to protect ourselves and our patients against. Next week on Radar, we will go live with risk registers. There are some drop-in sessions, details of which are on the screen, that Sagun will be organising. I'm really excited, to be honest, about risk registers going onto Radar. For the first time, it will mean whether you are a healthcare assistant, a resident doctor, a social worker, or one of our service managers, you will be able to see the risks that exist in our organisation. You will be able to contribute and suggest risk to the risk register process. We are safe or unsafe together, aren't we, in healthcare? So it feels like an important moment to be able to have that visibility, that transparency of the risks that we are trying to mitigate, the risks that we are trying to manage. And as I always say, when we come to make investments, it is the risk register that we look to first. So I'd really encourage you to renew your acquaintance with Radar. If you haven't had a look for a little while, we went live on May the 1st. Now we're pushing on from July the 1st with the risk registers joining instant reporting and other tools on that system. A really important commitment to safety in our organisation and to understanding the risks that we hold in common. I mentioned at the beginning of this vlog promises. Thank you so much to everyone involved in Armed Forces Day celebrations in Rotherham and North Lincolnshire last weekend and coming up in Doncaster this weekend. Thank you too to Steph and the team who've worked so hard on our veterans awareness work on Promise 11. It's incredibly important that we make sure we register and recognise anybody who is a veteran or from a veteran household, and we make sure that we are offering the right and priority access to those folk in recognition of their service. It's a huge part of the local community, isn't it? Perhaps particularly in Doncaster, where there are so many barracks and institutions. So it's a part of Ardash. It's a proud part of Ardash. Thank you to those in our teams who have served. And let's push on. We're trying to deliver Promise 11. Let's push on too with our work to deliver Promise 6. 33 reports have now been published across our services looking at poverty proofing in Ardash. There is more to come. We now have rights advisors, welfare rights advisors, benefits advisors on all our sites and available for our patients. We're looking through Dialogue Plus to make sure that it's an absolutely standard part of the patient pathway to make an assessment of entitlement. And as the country debates the right way forward with the welfare system, we need to play our part here at Ardash in making sure that everybody, perhaps particularly those with disabilities, get absolutely every penny to which they are entitled. It is a key part of health and well-being that we're able to do that. I know we've done a lot of work on things like food cupboards and obviously on the real living wage in terms of us as employees and making sure that the lowest paid colleagues get what they are due. Poverty proofing work under Promise 6 turns our attention to access for patients and making sure that we play our part. So there's a lot in this log to lean into, but I guess I'll end, of course, by advertising the annual members meeting coming up soon. Get your team entry in, but I guess in that celebration also by recognising all of the work that we have ahead to manage risk, to tackle some of those societal challenges, and to work with primary care colleagues to make this part of the world the exemplar for the delivery of the 10-year plan, as well as a place where our promises really do get delivered. Thanks for all your hard work. Cheers.